Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back or welcome to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am very excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 205. If you missed my last episode, number 204, we talked about when will now be enough? When will, in this moment, this phase of your life, this part of your life, this part of your day, this experience, whatever, be enough? So if you haven't checked out that episode, I definitely encourage you to. Today's episode is one where I have absolutely nothing written on my sheet because I needed to come on here and talk from my heart. And I had an episode planned for today that we will do on Thursday. But I had something happen, and I felt like I needed to do this episode. I felt pulled to do this episode. I don't know the direction in which we're gonna go. I might cry, we might laugh, it might be fun. But really my intention for this episode is to have something for you to come back to on those days when you feel alone, in those moments when you feel alone, in those moments when you feel like, no, like, how do I want to put this? Those moments when you feel trapped. Your brain can't possibly imagine a positive thought if it tried. It's stuck in a loophole of catastrophizing negative thoughts, one after the other. And you almost become paralyzed, numb, and a victim of your own thoughts. So let me rewind a little bit, all the way to last night. So I've had a couple of hard days the last couple of days, and A, I just want to say it's okay to have hard days, but B, these days are almost always predictable. They go along with my cycle, and there's always these chunks of days in my cycle that are just pretty much write-offs for me mentally. I know that I'm going to be a little short-fused, I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be, have less energy, whatever. But for some reason this month, they were way worse and way heavier, and I was extra tired and extra low and extra frustrated. And I had a moment yesterday was definitely the worst day, where I was just angry and everything was making me upset. If my dog was barking at nothing, I was losing my mind. My cat kept jumping on me and I was like, get away from me. And I had so much that I had to do, and I had no energy to do it. So then I was just mad at myself, like, get your shit together. Why are you being so lazy? And it was just like this battle by myself. Like, if you could have been a fly on the wall yesterday in my apartment to watch this day unfold, you'd have been like, girl, do you need a hug? And my answer would have been yes. And I was just having a really, really hard day. And I'm so thankful that I have such a wonderful, supportive partner that I can reach out to, and he drove here in a matter of minutes to come and support me, and I'm so grateful for that. And for a period of time, I started to feel better, and we went out, we got some groceries, we dropped off some donations, and just spent some time out of the house and together, which was very needed and was very nice. And when I got back home, it's like I instantly fell back into that headspace again. It's really easy when we're with other people to sometimes forget about the things that are going on, especially when we're around people that we love and, take our consciousness into a better place. And so as soon as I got back home, I was like, okay, I think I need to just close my eyes and lie down for a little bit and just see what happens. And this is like 6 o'clock at night. So I had a nap from like 6 to 6:30 at night. Also, I have hot coffee in front of me, and I'm like, I'm not going to drink this. This is a Sunday morning. Incredible, amazing. So I had a little nap skis, and then I had a pile of laundry I had to fold. I wanted to work on, I almost said what my new business was, and I haven't told you guys yet. I was working on some things for that. I had to make a soup because we're doing a family day event today, actually, in like 2 hours, and everybody's bringing a soup and we're doing a little soup off, so that'll be fun. But I had to do that, and I just felt so, and I wanted to prepare an episode, and my goal was actually to record yesterday, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. And where I'm going with all this is it just felt like one thing after another. And I didn't connect the dots last night of what my point is of all this, but it led me to have a very toxic relationship around food that I never realized that I've dealt with really before. I've had an eating disorder. I say in the past, it's also been in the present and something that still controls my life in a lot of ways. But I found myself beating myself up around food yesterday, and like everything I ate felt like punishment. And after I was done my supper, I made a tea and I had a couple pieces of chocolate. And you would think that I committed a crime, because my mind all night was like, you're fat, you're ugly, you piece of shit, why would you do that? Oh my God, do you know how hard you're gonna have to work out to burn that off? And like, I can't believe you would do that, and you're already blah blah. And it was just like these thoughts perpetuated faster than I could get myself to take a deep breath. And I ended up just going through the night and like carrying myself through it. And it wasn't until I went to brush my teeth at the end of the night and put my pajamas on that I looked in the mirror and I just started to break down. I had a full panic attack, a full breakdown. All my old eating disorder tendencies came back. It took everything in me not to make myself sick, like everything in me, because I knew that I would regret it and it wasn't what I wanted to do. But it was just one of those days when I was like, oh my gosh, is all my progress down the toilet? Is everything I've overcome gone? And am I right back to square one? And here's what I want to normalize: the fact that I am literally not even 12 hours later in a completely different headspace. It is okay to have those days. It is okay if you mess up. It's okay if, and what I mean by mess up is, if I had made myself sick, it's like, not that it's okay because it can affect, my health and my body, but at the same time, it's like, it's okay. Forgive yourself. It's okay if you've lashed out on those harder days. It's okay if you spend a whole day in bed because you can't fathom the idea of going outside. It's okay if you just wear comfy clothes all day because the thought of putting tight clothes on your body makes you feel icky and weird. It's okay if you need to cancel plans because you just need a day for yourself. It's okay to have really productive days and feel like you're on top of the world. And it's okay to, cry in your vehicle at the end of the day because you're just so overwhelmed by everything that happened. I just want us to know, and me to know, and remember, on those days when it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, the light does exist. It's really hard to see it in those moments because we are taken over by negative thoughts. Our brain is very manipulative in that way. But you can validate for yourself, I've had good days and I've had hard days. You've had and experienced both of those. It's easier when you're having a good day, you're not like, well, I'm never gonna have a sad day again. Your head isn't there. You're just enjoying the good day. But when we have hard days, we're always like, oh, good day's never gonna come again. And it's like, we just tell ourselves the worst case scenario, that we will be stuck like that forever. And last night I definitely felt like that of, have I awoken all my past wounds? What is going on? And I was beating myself up. And when I say crying uncontrollably, I mean sitting on my bathroom floor, crying hysterically, like the worst thing had just happened to me. But in that moment, it's like, that is what your reality feels like. It feels like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I had so much shame, and all I wanted to do was curl up in a ball and just forget about the day. But I know in those moments, it seems like it's over. And it seems like tomorrow feels like a century away. And I want you to ask yourself, when you're not in those headspaces, what can you give yourself in those moments? And it's not necessarily give yourself something to take away all the pain, because everything I experienced last night was also serving as a message for me. I'm like, okay, what was that trying to tell me? Is there an area of my life I'm not showing up that is coming out in this way? Is there a bucket that is being neglected? Is there something that I'm not doing that is leaving me feeling like this? Is this just my hormones that are, kind of out of whack? Is this just that time of the month where I feel a little not like myself? And that's okay. But when we can ask ourselves when we're in a good headspace, what do I need in those moments? I know for me, it sounds so simple. I need a hot cup of tea, my heating pad, and to just be comfortable. It's like I can hold space for myself to navigate through those thoughts and to process into whatever. And I'm very good at, I have my journal here and I wrote things down last night when I was in that headspace. But it's good practice to ask yourself, what is something certain that I know that I can go to when I'm feeling like that? And maybe you're the same as me. Maybe you just need a cozy blanket and a safe space to be, knowing that the thoughts aren't necessarily going to stop. The feelings aren't necessarily going to go away. But you're able to support yourself through that, rather than being uncomfortable and trying to push through when you don't need to. You don't need to be tough all the time, which is a lesson that I'm trying to learn for myself, because I have a very hard time asking for help. I feel like I'm a burden. I feel like I'm bothering people. I feel like, for example, with my partner, I'm always like, you're gonna get sick of me eventually, because I'm just like, every month at the same time I feel this way, and I'm just waiting for him to be like, okay, I can't handle this anymore, because I've been told that in the past. And it's like, you carry those narratives with you, and you carry those beliefs with you. And so many of us depend on those external people to support us through things, which, yes, it's important to have external people that can support you. And I'm so grateful from the bottom of my heart that I have such an amazing partner that can hold that space for me and is always there for me. But we also have to make sure we're there for ourselves, because we can't always depend 100% on other people to be there, because maybe they can't physically be there. And so we also have to learn the tools to support ourselves. But I want you to know, my biggest message for today is you're not alone, which I know I say all the time, but I will say every episode if I have to, so you know, because in those moments, gosh, I feel so alone and I feel so shameful, and I'm like, no one else has ever experienced this. And it's like, no, this is actually very, very common. Just nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about looking in the mirror and wanting to make yourself sick because you feel fat, even though you know rationally in your brain that's not true. And there's just like such stigma around all these things, and it's hard to talk about, right? It's very, very hard to admit these things. And it's not just something that's gonna come up around the lunch table at work, right? So that's why I want this platform to be that place where we can start these conversations, we can normalize these conversations, because all I want in those moments is for someone to tell me, you're not alone, and it's okay, and you're experiencing this for a reason, and there's a message beneath this, and I hope that you can love yourself through this. And so if you are in those moments, or if you're in that moment right now, if you're having a hard day and you're listening to this, brighter days are coming. A better day is coming. Better experiences are coming. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate through this day, because this day is just as important as those good days. Getting curious of, like I mentioned, what is it that you're needing? What are you craving? Even if you don't know in the moment, try. Maybe it's taking a bath. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's cuddling with your furry friends, right? Your dogs, your cats, whatever. Maybe it's hugging a good friend or a family member or your partner or your children. Whatever it is, it's okay to ask for help and to be vulnerable and to let your guard down and to have those off days. And I know they feel heavy and I know they feel impossible, but it's what makes us human. And I'm trying to preach this to myself, and I often preach things on here almost like a mirror that I'm trying to tell myself in reverse, but it's things that I know that I really need to hear. And so your next hard day, know that it's just a day, and sometimes we need things a little deeper, and we need a little extra love from ourselves and from others, and that's okay. So I want to thank you guys for listening to this episode. I want you to be extra just kind to yourself. mental health is a very tricky thing, and it can take over at the randomest of times. We can get triggered at the randomest of times, which is what Thursday's episode is all about. And it can feel like it comes out of nowhere and hits us like a tsunami. But that's okay. And you're not alone in your experiences. And I promise you that whatever you're feeling, somebody else is experiencing as well. And it's not until we begin to normalize these conversations and talk about the fact that we're not alone that we'll be able to inch our way towards change. So I'm proud of you. I'm grateful for you. I'm so happy you're here. And the next time you're sitting on your bathroom floor or in your bed or in your car having a meltdown, I'm right there with you. And I hope you know that I care so deeply and that I'm thinking of each and every one of you always, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, and each of you make this world a better place. So thank you all so much, and I look forward to chatting with you all on Thursday. Bye, you guys.